So the iPhone 11 came out over a month ago, but when I first started using the thing, I realized I couldn't really review it because it was fundamentally broken. Not only were my apps frequently crashing, but just basic functionality like the Bluetooth would not work. Not exactly ideal if you want to listen to a bit of music or watch a video on your smartphone without resorting to dongles and all kinds of stuff like that. Thankfully, Apple has sorted out most of these little issues through various updates, so I can feel like I can actually properly talk about it now. And so here is my full 1-month iPhone 11 review. Now first up, even though this is the cheapest of the new 2019 range of iPhones, it'll still set you back £729 if you pick it up SIM-free. Not exactly affordable. Sorry Gran, it's time to get back on that surgery table and pop out that other kidney. Of course that price isn't a problem if the smartphone is actually worth it, but if you're going purely on looks, then the chances are you probably slap the iPhone 11 straight back onto the shelf. This thing definitely looks like a really cheapy Android with its big fat bezels and toy-like finish, especially that fugly new camera chassis. I do really like this red colour, and some of the other vibrant hues are very nice indeed as well, but the rest of the phone just puts you right off. It's kind of like slapping Ryan Gosling's face on Boris Johnson's body. Now at least the iPhone 11 doesn't seem too bad in the durability stakes. Thankfully I haven't dropped it on a hard surface because I've seen the results of that firsthand and it ain't pretty, but I have shoved it in various backpacks, slapped it down on hard surfaces. So far there's only a couple of light scratches on the screen and on the back there as well, so you probably want to put some sort of case on it to keep it pristine, but otherwise it's fine. And as usual, this phone is fully water and dust resistant as well, so you can catch up on a bit of Netflix in the bath or your swimming pool if you're a rich bugger. It can take depths of up to 2 meters now, so no worries at all. So that screen, and the iPhone 11 sports a 6.1-inch IPS panel, not an OLED like pretty much every other Android around this sort of price point. And while 6.1 inches can be considered relatively compact, certainly compared with a lot of Android smartphones these days, unfortunately you've got these really big fat bezels surrounding that display, so it's definitely not very comfortable to wield one-handed. That mustache notch is still of course present in this generation, which further limits your viewing space for video, but I did find the iPhone 11 fine for kicking back with a movie or smashing through an online box set. That notch is only really annoying when you zoom into a YouTube video and a good chunk of the action is then cropped out. And as usual, of course, you've got absolutely no room up top for any of your actual notification icons or anything, which is quite irritating. But you can enjoy up to full HD content, so everything looks perfectly crisp and detailed, and there's even quite rare Dolby Vision support as well for sexy looking contrast and natural colour reproduction. You can't play around with the vibrancy of the hues or anything like that, but Apple's True Tone feature is back in action to alter the temperature to suit your environment. And on top brightness, you'll definitely have no problems whatsoever. Certainly won't be squinting to see what you're doing when you're out and about on a sunshiny day. Absolutely no complaints on the audio front either. That stereo speaker setup is nice and punchy and pretty clear as well for a mobile device. Definitely great stuff. There is no headphone jack, of course, but Apple has at least sorted out that Bluetooth support, so now you can stream wirelessly to any headphones or speaker without the connection just randomly dropping for no reason whatsoever. iOS 13 has of course seen a steady stream of updates since the iPhone 11 first launched, one of the reasons I left it a month to review it, and these fix most of the various problems. Right now it seems to be a lot more stable, barring the usual Wi-Fi woes where it just refuses to connect to networks for reasons. You get new features such as that sexy dark mode, while revamped privacy options give you greater control over what apps you can access. Very commendable indeed. And when the Wi-Fi does actually decide to work, the latest 6 standard is fully supported here on the iPhone 11, one of the few handsets to actually do it. Certainly most premium Androids don't bother just yet. Should be really handy when that tech eventually rolls out, hopefully starting early next year. There's not really anything new to be said here that I haven't said before and others haven't said before as well. The overall ecosystem is absolutely fine if you and your mates use nothing but Apple devices. Like the Home app, for instance, really solid for getting connected to all your smart home gear. But of course the system navigation could be better, and you've got that lack of dedicated customization as well, and just little things like that just have me always longing for a bit of Android. Likewise, the lack of a fingerprint sensor can be kind of annoying, but the face recognition here on the iPhone 11 is both dependable and responsive and accepted for authorizing Apple Pay shenanigans. And like Google's Pixel phones as well, there's full eSIM support on here as well, again quite a rare feature in the smartphone world, so you can go online and grab yourself a package whenever you're roaming or when you simply need a bit of a top up. And no troubles at all either when it comes to the speed. Apple's latest A13 chipset is hidden away inside that chunky chassis, so you can play any game out there on top detail settings with a blistering frame rate, and you shouldn't see any slowdown for the foreseeable either, although there is no 5G support for proper future-proofing. Battery life seems pretty standard for an iPhone device as well. In fact, the copious update seems to have actually boosted it a little bit, so generally at the end of a very busy day after plenty of media streaming, camera use, bit of gaming, all that kind of shenanigans, I've usually got a good bit of juice left in the tank, around sort of 15-20%. Recharging is unfortunately slower than a one-legged sloth using Apple's bundled adapter, but it will be faster using any decent alternative, and you can slap the handset in any cheap standard wireless charger to power it up that way too. Now, of course, one of the major features that Apple always markets to death when it releases a new set of iPhones is the camera tech, and here on the iPhone 11 it's definitely a step up from last year's XR. You get the same primary 12-megapixel lens as before with an f1.8 aperture and built-in optical image stabilization, but the iPhone 11 also boasts a new secondary 12-megapixel ultra-wide angle lens for grabbing a very different view of the world when needed. And flip around to the front and that selfie cam has been boosted from a 7-megapixel effort to a 12-megapixel shooter to grab snaps of your beautiful mug in even greater detail. I found that the iPhone 11's camera was an improvement in most areas over last year's iPhone XR, mostly helped out by the greater flexibility offered by that secondary ultra-wide angle lens. It's not quite pixel 4 good when it comes to simple point and shoot photography, but it is very respectable indeed, and the video chops are hard to beat. You can check out my full iPhone 11 camera review and XR comparison live right now on TechSpert. So after more than a month of living with the iPhone 11, would I actually recommend it? Well, I'd say if you're sold on iOS and you don't want to take the plunge into Android waters, then go for it. It's not as much of a rip-off as the Pro models, and it still does everything you'll need it to. Of course, it's still absolutely mental that this thing costs over 700 quid when you get similar or better Android for literally hundreds of pounds less. But you can at least save a bit of money if you trade in an old iPhone when you pick up the iPhone 11. You can grab it right now from Sky Mobile on its swap plans, so you can at least boost up to the next iteration of iPhones when Apple releases a bunch of those next year. A big thanks to Sky Mobile for sending in the iPhone 11 review unit, and now it's time for you to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Am I being too harsh on the iPhone 11, or is it actually relatively poor value compared with a lot of the Android competition? It'd be great to hear your thoughts, and please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech. Cheers everyone, love you!